time. We had some crazy 9-hour long cast before. It was pretty fine.
I'll
But
be
that
okay.
was also crazy with Power League Finals. That was
Yes.
also one of the craziest casts we've ever done. But here's the map choice for the second game.
Yeah, and it seems to be Tempest map pick, which means that Black probably took first pick, which is their usual way. It's what they like to do normally. So impressive. Well, not impressive, but standard, I should say. God, I'm dying.
I think that,
I'm like, what am I even saying anymore?
I think this series is leaning towards Tempest. Of course, they won the first map, but still, they won in the Battlefield of Eternity, which MVP Black is really strong on. And of course, having Sign on Tempest right now, I think that helped a lot, having that micro, and even during the draft, picking that team comp against MVP Black. But going into game number 2, we have Sky Temple. Of course, Zarya is just insta-banned from the beginning. And also Zeratul banned. Interesting. Now that leaves open lots of picks for MVP Black. They can probably take whatever they want to.
False,
Of course, Falstad. Sake picked so many Falstad we saw from the key player. And he's been playing Falstad probably, I think, over 70% during the qualifiers.
Yes. He has played more Falstad than anybody. It's been the night of Falstad.
Yes.
Did not get picked up in the last match, obviously, because the last map was not Falstad. It's probably Falstad's worst map.
This reminds me of
the first
game.
best of 3 or best of 5.
No, the second best of 5, MVP Miracle versus Mighty, because Miracle was heavily focusing on Falstad, and then Mighty was basically picking Ragnaros on Malfurion. This is it's like a just swap sides deja vu. Oh, now they're going all in with this Vala. Tassadar already picked up with Vala. Basically, they can have any other support to just keep that Vala alive.
The Tempest ban here on Ariel is super obvious. That's why I locked it in so fast. The ban for Black here is a little bit less obvious what they can go for.
They can go for Leeming, or if they actually want to take Leeming, they can have that open.
I don't think they want to take Li Ming, but
Or they can ban Dehaka or some.
I think Dahaka.
I think banning out a global one is a good one here.
Dahaka's a great ban. Black could run solo Dahaka. They're gonna ban Tychus. Tychus is the range damage you want to take away when you're like, I already got 2, and he's the best. Li Ming is like, I don't want them to have mage damage. I'm gonna take that away. I think both bans are acceptable. I like the Li Ming personally a lot better, and it looks like that's what they're leaning towards. They actually take Hammer away instead. This takes away a lot of the lane pressure, but it's definitely not one of her stronger maps, so an interesting choice.
I think they were just basically a little pressured and having troubles just diving in, especially Kyocha. Kyocha was focusing on Leeming, but Duck on Sergeant Hammer, basically he was just left alone in that siege mode doing all that damage. Maybe they had some feedbacks that Duck was on siege mode and that we couldn't really engage or do anything with him. And just banning out that tank was probably their choice.
What I'm really curious about is whether or not Kyocha's going to bring in the Thrall. Like, I think Thrall would be a great choice. Maybe Tempest wants to deny that pick right now. You've got Tassadar, Thrall, plus Rhaegar, whatever support they end up with at the end of all things, at the end. There's no more bans, so they can take Rhaegar if they want to. It sounds terrifying. As we do see Muradin and Li Ming come in here. Since Li Ming was left alone, that was the obvious choice. Muradin, a solid tank. Interesting they take it over ETC on this map especially. Karazim ETC. So no rain or no melee here.
So ETC.
So that's, you know, no. Well, I guess it's impossible with 2 ranged already, so never mind. But I was thinking they were gonna go like one, you know, say like Karazim or Rhaegar and like a Grey Mane or something, but they needed a tank. They didn't have a tank already.
And having Falstad and ETC, even ETC can go mosh pit or stage dive at their will. Probably we'll see another stage dive coming in. The stage dive looks like the meta for Korea right now. But there is still mosh pit going around sometimes. But we saw Honkana really not using too much of mosh pit. He just used 1, but that was enough to finish the game. But we'll see what he picks when he goes into game number 2. But Tempest on lockdown on Li Ming, even in game number 1, he was on the side, like he was looking at, he was like a tiger looking at the rabbit, trying to go in, get that reset. He didn't get too much in that game number 1, but we saw enough games with lockdown on Li Ming. He's super great.
He's incredible. The Tyrael pick here was the one I was leaning towards for the last pick because there's no real good damage that comes in with solo support Malf. You don't want to go for a bruiser here. You don't want to go for just another range damage. You already have Rag's damage. You'll probably see this build into heal. But we'll talk more about the comps as we get into game number 2. MVP Black 0-1. Tempest looking to go to match point as we go on to Sky Temple. MVP Black in blue. It is Sake on Falstad, Reset on Valentist on ETC, Kyocha on Tastar. That's not a melee assassin. And Veriday on Karzi. He's still playing that all-rounder.
But still, on red, Tempest, Hide on Valkyrie, Dog Dog on Tyrael, Lockdown on Li Ming, Sign on Burden, Modern Life again on Ragnaros. Looks like Tempest has that little combination of the new and the old. Compared to Black's draft, they're really staying with that old style of draft, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, this draft from Black, I'm more thinking about it, kind of breaks the rules of traditional drafting because they don't really have a melee here. And that's what Kyocha's role is normally with this new role swap. And he's going to be playing the Tastar here, so they have 2 range with Tastar. Tastar pairs really well with Bala. But they have a lot of squishy heroes. Will Tastar and Karzi be enough? Karzi went Iron Fist. That's going to be the question here. There isn't a whole lot of blow up on Tempest. If they body block correctly, Li Ming won't be able to do too much. And then the real concern is going to be the Sulfuric Smash coming out from Rag. If Rag can isolate some of these squishy targets, it becomes an easy fight for Tempest. Whose draft do you like better? Because I want to lean towards Black, but it's such a weird draft that it's hard for me to say.
I honestly like Black's draft a little bit better because Tempest does have a solid draft, but I personally do not like Tyrael pick at the end too much because of course Sang can save a lot of the team, and then we saw a big turnaround with that team fight with Sang popping up and Twilight Dream just connecting right there. But still, without just melee damage to support that like a Greymane or a Thrall, I think it can actually become a waste just to save as a defensive, not as an offensive. So it doesn't give you that option to be offensive and defensive. It'll be only for defensive uses.
It's a more modern Tyrael, which we only really saw in Europe and NA for a long time. Oh my god, Sign with a beautiful dodge there. That was perfect. It's a more modern Tyrael. It's not the old flashy one with the melee that we always like to see. It's definitely weaker, but it's still solid. And I think given the limited amount of options for range damage they had left, already with a like 2-tank semi with the Rag here, I think it was kind of one of the better choices. They spent a lot of time thinking about it. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. I'm like, oh, well, they had very few choices, so this is one of the good ones. Going to be faster taken here for Black. They're going to invade. Tempest is probably going to have to give those final shots. And they don't have global heroes to soak it. They're actually going to contest this. This means Black can actually just send Falstad away. Sake is already moving away right now to help push this wave. They'll probably just fly mid.
And Black, of course, having that Falstad just has so much more control from the top shrine also.
Black has such an EXP lead already as well. All right, moving in now.
Let's see. The Tempest really tries to take this control over. Now they finally do have some shots and ending shots as well.
Perhaps Falstad didn't miss fly yet, so they contested a little bit longer, so Sake could get that. He's going to have his Tailwind available. He can still rotate down pretty quickly to bot. As long as nobody dies here, this is a great position for Black. Look at this. Sake clears the wave. Has a huge, sweet, juicy wave down here. It's like 2 waves in one to get so much more EXP. They're going to hit 7 so much faster. Really well played. Tempest is kind of cleaning up the mess that was left behind.
Having that Falstad first pick, you can just out-rotate. We have been seeing that Falstad all day long today. Looks like that's going to happen for until maybe until next week where we have the new patch coming in, but still having that false stat just gives a lot of pressure by macroing, and having these temples, and just if they have, oftentimes they have 2 temples spawning at the same time, that's gonna give a Black so much favors coming in.
It's I think he has, if I think about it, 100% win rate today. I don't think he's lost a game yet, so it's pretty...
I think you're very close to being right. I'm not actually sure.
Yes, it's when we've been casting for 6 hours, but like, I think so. Anyway, so far, Tempest is just doing what they can here, holding off, being defensive, getting 7. Yes, they're a level behind. Yes, they're going to lose this this top 4 wall. It's okay. They are just trying to play defensive. They don't want this to snowball, because this map often does. If you get a little bit too nervous, a little bit too stressed about falling a little bit behind on this map and you make bad moves, you lose this next one, you lose 10 super early, and you basically start to lose the game, with few exceptions, especially in Korea. So the patience we're seeing here from Tempest is nice. We don't see comebacks on this map too often, but they don't have a massive deficit against them.
This one, and one of the strengths of Black, as we can see right now, I think. But like we can have Kyocha or Sake on that Tastar. They just have so big of a hero pool. They can switch around their team comp so much more. But hold that thought, Tempest gonna go dive in. Lockdown just trying to do some damage in the front line, but looks like that will be it. And all this time, Sake is just soaking on top, trying to doing a lot of damage to that wall.
Tempest needs to do more. They need to do more than this. If they just sit here and don't get a pick, then this is just so bad for them, because Sake is getting so much damage done in the top lane here.
Yeah, look at that beautiful power slide of Tusk, just stalling a lot of time. But Tempest, they really need that level 10. They can't really, I know, though they did push because it was 4v5, of course, and sustain and doing more damage. Of course, they have more people here, and just getting caught a little bit.
They should be fine, though, and Malfurion is actually the one to die. Tempest loses a member while they are up 1. Oh,
this is a 4v5 fight! What's going on here? And Modern Life has no way to escape that.
Heroics happened. Now it's 10 to level 8. And Falstad unnecessary here, but they get an entire team wipe. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the mistake you make that costs you the game sometimes on this map. I'm not trying to call this game over by any means, but just historically, when things like this happen, when you get a boss at 6:30, the game usually doesn't go too well for the team that's behind. And by usually, I mean like 99.999997% of the time.
Maybe we'll see that 0.0003% happening from Tempest today, but they really need to hit that 10, because Tyrael, with that team comp with MVP Black, you can't really do much other than other than the times you have Sang. You can go in and pop that Sang. Your entire team can also join the fight, and looks like Doctor's gonna try to be a little aggressive, but makes it out of there.
Not entirely sure about that palm. I don't know who it went off on there, but did not end up being useful. Doesn't have the longest cooldown, but anyways, nice gust there to try to isolate Duck. There's so much shots still available here. It looks like it's just going to be Merryday going down to take that right now. 100% for free. Gets the globe there. And he has Iron Fist, so he can clear these Guardians very, very quickly. So not a bad hero to send down there. He's basically a melee assassin in this case. He's the melee they needed as Coach is playing Tastar.
And then basically Black is forcing Tempest to decide if they want to come up or down, and they decide to go all the way up, but didn't really get anything out of that. And Tempest, no, Black, they got what they wanted exactly. They got all that tempo from the bottom. They got the fort on the top. What are they going to do now?
Well, they're going to take their own camp and hope to find a pick here potentially while they maybe invade.
Look at that hero damage on Vala. 27k already. It's only been 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
Versus Leeming doesn't even have 20 yet, so the comparison there is, well, can't even really draw one. They take their siege camp. They're not going to invade Black's currently. Just going to move forward here into the mid lane.
See, that also shows, like, Vala staying in the front line, just trusting your teammates from shield and all the heals coming back. I think that's one of the biggest things. Reset really trusts him, and Lockdown a little bit out of position. May get caught. Parslide just used Cleanse, great Cleanse to follow, but Lockdown still in trouble, very low.
Down he goes. His brother unable to save him, and his brother will find the same fate. Wastes Twilight Dream. Sank goes off here, but they won't be able to turn this. Hyde goes down. Modern Life gets caught. This actually might be a keep. Let's see. Duck's going to buy a lot of time here. Force Wall was...
almost
yeah.
misused.
I'm like, he stopped
it was
Faraday
almost
from getting the kill.
I
Like,
used it or something,
yeah.
but that was not enough. I think he was saying, "Oh, it's okay. We can let one go."
he's
this
like,
time.
hey, team, I told you not to chase. Get back here.
MVP Black, they're just stomping right now. 3 entire level lead. Wow.
No deaths. This could be a perfect game. As at this point in time, Tempest just has no ground to work with. They're just constantly trying to clean up the waves that are pushing them. Siege Giant camp is going to be the next one here. Perfectly timed with these shrines. These temples here as Black moves in. That camp, someone's going to have to deal with it. No globals to go down there. It means it could end up on the keep the longer this fight goes. Ooh, big blow up here, though, on the Meriday. Palms himself, but too soon. He's not going to get the heal. And this actually could be a win for Tempest, but Hyde is insanely low. Where's he going?
The other side with his teammates, and here comes Meriday to kill Hyde, and Hyde goes down. Meriday somehow comes back to teamfight, and Kyocha just shifts away. Lockdown is looking for save me, reset. Can you? No way.
Reset just too strong here with all the stacks. 4 dead, and all that's left is a sad
Both tempo going
here.
to Black. This game is basically almost over already.
I think it is over.
It's gonna hit.
It's gonna be a double talent tier. Yeah.
Level 4 difference, and it's gonna be way too big. And Black is gonna just. And Black is one of the team that they love to overextend, but they actually know the exact core lethal, and they go for it.
They definitely push their advantages. I'd say that when other teams do it, they often overextend, but Black knows the fine line to walk. They should get 2 keeps very shortly here because they have double shots. Looks like this might barely survive. No, I think it's going to actually go down.
Yeah, with the last 5 shots.
Yeah, the last 5 should finish it. And
or even before.
Yep, just before. Which means the top one's going to take some damage here before the wall is even down.
And Tempest, they don't really have too much things to do other than just take their own camp. They just have to go around and macro. Kyocha is out of position, but Sign does fine. If the bolt does hit, but look at that. Wow, this
Duck is in trouble.
Perfectly placed right there. Sank was used, but I've said before, Sank, I'm gonna say it again. The Sank was not really too effective in those team fights.
Just an emergency Sank. Reset will actually miss the palm here, but it doesn't matter. There's so much peel for him. Gets the next heal. Duck's going to go down. Reset should be able to vault out at the last second to escape this. Oh, doesn't matter. Doesn't even need it. And 2 dead. Looks like it's going to be 3 dead when Sign goes down. And the rest of this game, you could just mute the stream. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say.
That was kind of weird. Sign was trying to door toss away, and then the face melt actually canceled that from going over. It looked like that for me.
I think it was intentional to make sure that he didn't get no drop off. With a 4-level lead here and boss and no keep, they walk across the finish line, but they're the only people racing. This is a victory march here. There's no way Tempest can hold this. They don't even have the keeps on the right side of the core for Ragnaros to actually try to delay. The only keep they have is the top, so this should just be, as I said, a victory march, as MVP Black will tie the series 1-1. It's Sky Temple. Perhaps Tempest wanted to snowball this game, get 2 wins, and be on match point, but they lose the early game, make a few more critical mistakes, and Black runs away with it here. And this will be the end. Modern Life's like, please notice me!
They're trying to do they're stalling some time, but Duck very low, almost going down. Does not have Sank yet, but before Sank comes back, they are basically blown up, and Core goes down. Game 2 going to MVP Black.
Could have a 5-game series on their hands. Tisk, the MVP, 100%. You can see how happy he is with this win.
He's already like in Black. Like he does not need any more time to blend in. He's already blended in 100%.
Really happy with Black's play there on that second game. They had a tough first one. This map's hard to judge though because they won the early game so handily that the game just kind of plays itself for you when you get that far ahead. The rest of the game was almost like a spoiled book, like you already knew the ending of the story. Lockdown growing his hair out, man. I'm pretty sure he hasn't had a haircut since summer, but he looks good. You know what? Like, I feel like Hyde and Lockdown look more like brothers to me. He has a long hair. I really do. I couldn't stop looking at it. But
yeah.
1-1 now.
1-1 now, and Black really taking this heavy lead down to stomping them. Game 1 was closed. We lost it, but still, look at us now in Sky Temple, and I'm really liking that Tassadar pick. As both MVP teams, they really love that Tassadar picks, and maybe even Illidan will come out in game number 3, but looks like we're going to a commercial break very soon.
Yep, guys, we're going to go to a commercial break. Going to be just a few minutes before we come to the exciting conclusion to tonight's HGC Korea